I get fired up a lot because you spend 14 years building something and you look at that whole path and that thing that we were building as marketers, like you would talk to contractors nonstop and you would tell them what to do. It was just talk, 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 but you never had to be accountable for it, right? They did.
Yep.
So like, it's one thing to spend years like coming into meetings like this and saying like, Andrew, you've got to do this. You've got to do that. But now you have this opportunity to take all of the things that you've taught for so many years and you get to actually do them yourself. There's just such a powerful differentiator like between doing something versus telling people what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what really like wakes me up in the morning is having this ability to say, listen, like if you guys all just did the things we told you to do, the way that we're doing the things that we've always said to do, this could be something that you have in your life. This could be, at the level that you want to take it. So just trying to be the example.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builder's Bible. I'm joined by Mike Venidis, who owns Good Golly Garage Doors. And man, such a positive and awesome spirit. We were just catching up a little bit before the show. And Mike, I got to be honest, man, you were the first garage door guy I've had on the show. And I've been wanting to talk to some of these guys because I know that they just have, it's such a unique business. So I'm excited to kind of pick your brain on it. Man, tell us about Good Golly and what you guys are up to.
Well, I appreciate the invite, man. It's an honor to be the first garage door guy. And we're just kind of figuring things out as we go over here. So Good Golly is, it's an interesting thing. Like our concept is unique. We're building a network over here. That's kind of what the goal is. It's not private equity. It's not franchise. It's literally a network of operators throughout the United States that are banding together under one brand and working, in sync and alignment all towards the goal, to serve and take care of homeowners and redefine what home service looks like. So we're actually openly looking for operators throughout the nation too, man. So if you know any good ones, hard workers, I'd love to meet them.
So, okay, let me understand that really quickly. So I had Victor Rancor on the podcast the other day, and he's doing that in the HVAC space. He's kind of doing his own little roll-up thing, which is privately funded by him. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're doing? Are you like coming in with systems and structure and back office and stuff and kind of bringing them up under one umbrella company?
Totally, man. Our business partner, Jason Henderson, is, that person. And what we did is we banded together, Jason, my wife, myself, and Caleb Blyton. He's our national service director. He's got many, many years in the garage door space. It's just an all-star team, and what we did is we came together and created a holding company. It's a support team, and we simply exist to support operators so that they could become entrepreneurs. And we make it easy. Like we take out all of the analysis paralysis, the guesswork. We make it very, very simple and easy. Like if you're a hard worker and you're committed and you're an all-in person, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, And my wife and I always wanted to explore entrepreneurship. We spent 14 years building, a reputable digital marketing company, and we've always been leaders and we've always been hard workers, and just kind of became time to think about ourselves a little bit more and, what we could do if we were in control of our own fate.
I've got a guy for you. He's here in Colorado. He's a buddy of mine through Rise Up Kings, and he needs that. So remind me after the show, or else I'll forget.
Done. I love it.
He's
I've heard about Rise Up Kings too. I've heard about
Yeah,
this.
man, it's life changing. Don't get me started. I'll talk your ear off. It saved my marriage. It's everything, dude. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it.
I love that.
Well, tell us, so I kind of understand the model. Tell us what makes you guys different, when a client asks you that, or maybe an operator asks you that, like, what do you typically say?
Yeah, I think the thing that makes it the most interesting, right, for potential operators is that you have all your decision-making rights, like any fees that you pay into the holding company are optional. Like you don't have to leverage the resources. We do operate under a brand and we do have, we'll call them like loose rules for lack of better terms, but every operator has decision-making authority. And what's great about that is like when we don't see eye to eye on tactical strategies or there's differences that occur between different leadership styles, it allows you to really have authentic, genuine, strategic conversations. It's like, think about any business that you were ever involved with, Andrew, like a good, well-led company, you don't force your employees to do things, right? They understand the why behind what they do. And you want to create buy-in and you want to teach them and you want to, have genuine conversations about why we think things should be the way that they should be, and byproduct of that type of environment, even though it could be a little bit more, we'll say hard work of like convincing and buy-in, is you get passion. And when you get passion, right, like then the results of the business tend to look pretty good because everybody is very passionate about what they do. And business is a reflection of the leader. If they're passionate about what they do, the employees tend to get passionate too when they're in good space.
That's great. What's going really well with your business and what are some challenges you guys are facing?
Man, what's going really well? Everything. It's I kind of have to pinch myself.
That's awesome.
Going into a model like this, my wife and I, Jacqueline, have always just been such hard workers. So, when it's something where you just execute and you just decide and roll and things start to happen as fast as they're happening, the amount of results you can generate and the time frame that you can generate them in are just, it's kind of mind-boggling. So, everything's going well, Andrew. From having the timing, of the opportunity presenting itself, to having the resources and the team members at the holding level to be able to look out for each other and get you the skill. I'd never been in a garage door, like changing out anything in a day in my life, before we opened this business. And to be able to
What was your background, out of curiosity?
Digital marketing.
Really?
Yeah. I was an SEO guy.
Huh.
And after the company was acquired by private equity, things just changed. So, we decided
that's a good skill set to have as any business owner, I would think, as any sort of online marketing is critical.
It really is. To be able to make the phone ring is a powerful thing, and it's something that, Jacqueline and I are good at. Leadership, marketing, these are things that they're natural to us, but there's also a lot that comes with entrepreneurship. Like every day is different. You don't know what you don't know, and you're just going to kind of learn as you go and figure things out. But I do feel like very blessed to have many, many years, as a leader, to be able to develop that skill before, kind of figuring it out, like while you're in it.
This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork. It's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. And then what's a big challenge that you're facing right now?
A challenge is like the adjustment from going white collar to blue collar. Like it really is a different type of person, like there's upside to that too. So I don't want it to sound like it's just a challenge. It's just, when you're dealing with garage door technicians and you switch into a different industry, like they're a different type of person, right? And, pay models are all 100% commission based. So you're not dealing with, structured salaries like in some of the positions. And so the mindset changes and the demeanor and how they communicate, it's different. So you kind of have to learn how to adapt to that a little bit, but we've had a lot of fun with that. Other challenges is, like you kind of just, you figure things out. But like, that's the thing is it doesn't really feel like a challenge, Andrew. It's, I don't know how to explain it, man. Like after all these years of building a large, sizable digital marketing agency, like you learn to be in love with discomfort. Yeah. So for me, like a challenge excites me. I'm like, oh, what are we going to do?
It's one of my wife's least favorite things that I always repeat when she points out all the reasons something won't work. And I always say, barriers are meant to be overcome. And I say that to my kids all the time.
Totally.
So yeah, that's great, dude. I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think what makes a great entrepreneur is resourcefulness and an unwillingness to give up. Right. And one of my mentors, when I started my first business, there were days I like wanted to quit, multiple times. And he was like, the only time you fail is if you quit. That's it.
Right.
So there's always a way out. There's always a way out. So
it's so true. So true.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, tell me about this partnership with, is he like a sugar daddy? Like, how do you get connected to a guy like that? Like, how does that all work out?
It was a beautiful thing, man. Like when we were doing our digital marketing days, we were there a long time and we were key players in the organization at the time. And, we've done a lot of the roles. So, Jason had an HVAC and plumbing business and they were a client of the company back in the day. And, we played key roles in helping him blow that thing up, grow it. And he did very impressive things in a 5-year window, before he had sold that business to a private equity group a few years back, and have a nice transaction and get opportunities. And the thing about Jason, that attracted us to him is like our partner, when Jacqueline and I had made this adjustment, he's just a great human being. And I think that's what we wanted the most. It's like what we wanted was to sit at tables with people, that had character, that were ethical, integrity. They actually stood by their word and do the things that they say they were going to do, things of that nature. He just kind of embodied the operator that we felt like we wanted to be. And we thought about like, what kind of story would that create? Like to walk away from salaries that large, organization that big, and, to come out here into this environment and try to overcome adversity by doing things we've never done before and, becoming people that we have no idea how to be, just to try and be the example. So, for him to be able to have an exit and have experience and to take a partner and mentor role where we could, be a part of that, like, that was the opportunity of a lifetime, man. So it just made the most sense for us, to be about it rather than just keep talking.
Yeah. I just am so curious about the garage door space. I don't know anything about it. So I'll tell you a story. I have a whole CrossFit setup in my garage. Fat Boy Fitness global headquarters. And I know that I had, yeah, we do. Yeah. And I know that I had a guy come in to install the side jack from the overhead, because I do overhead presses and stuff in there.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah. And then he made it quieter and he strung it and he said it didn't have the right tension and stuff. But like, what is the main thing people are looking at? Is it broken? Are they looking for a tune-up? Like what gets you in the door?
Man, there's so much that I could say here. I'm going to talk your ear off because we didn't choose garage doors, just to be clear. Like it chose us. When Jason approached us about this opportunity, I mean, obviously, I think he was excited about the fact that we're marketers and we know how to make the phones ring, but I think what made it really exciting is like he couldn't be in the HVAC and plumbing space. He is a non-compete, and he did the homework to say like what are the most common industries to what he was familiar with. And, garage doors was one of those options. And so, garage doors chose us. But here's what I've realized since we've been in it, because we've been in it since October of last year. And one of the things I think is so much fun about this industry, man, is like the scalability. I feel like there really is. I'm never going to say something's easy because I think we have different perceptions of easy, but convenient, I think, is a more thoughtfully chosen word.
Yeah.
The ability to take people, great people, and teach them everything they need to know about fixing a garage door, installing a garage door. There's a lot of convenience there. So the scalability and what you can accomplish by, as long as you can get enough leads, like you can change lives for employees and teach them this craft. Plus, as a marketer, it's a lot of fun, because you're not just dealing with reactive emergency buyers, like broken springs where you're trapped into the garage, but you're dealing with like luxury buyers too, right? Because the garage door right now is the highest rated way to actually increase the ROI on your home value. It's 268% increase on the value of your home by just upgrading the garage door.
Wow.
It's wild, right? I mean, it pays for it. But like when you're talking to people and you're selling doors through, so many different things, right? Like you have how it feels, like how loud is it? How does it look aesthetically, right? Like obviously I just said how it sounds. Do you want glass? Do you like natural sunlight coming in? How do you use it? There's just such a passion that you can develop for like a garage door and how it can transform and change a home.
Yeah.
So it's fun because you've got like the luxury demographic, but you also have, that hero demographic, like that person who's just like, I will do anything if I could just get you out here at 11 p.m. and save my day. Like I just need to get the car free because I need to be at work on time, and to be able to like drive out there and make a difference in their lives like that, like take all that stress away.
Yeah.
It feels meaningful. So not only you're like changing your employees' lives and building something they can be proud of, but like you're actually helping everyday people. And that to me is like the most fun part, man. I love going out in the field and like meeting homeowners and like trying to like make a difference in your life.
What are the 11 p.m. calls that are emergencies with garage doors? Like it won't close and you're worried about someone stealing something from you?
No, cars. You park your cars in the garage, right? And sometimes what happens is these torsion springs, like some homes only have one spring, some homes have two springs. Yeah. But depending on your circumstance, like a garage door is a very heavy item, Andrew. Like you ain't going to lift that door, not unless you got like a whole group of people. And I wouldn't even advise doing that because it's very dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been there. I'm trying to think. I remember our starter home, something happened where the garage was lifting and it got sideways and all of the stuff was jacked up and we couldn't get in or out of it. So I get that. I was just remembering back to it. That really did suck. It put me sideways for about a week.
When a spring breaks, sometimes the impact hits the torsion tube and it causes the cable to fall off the drum. And so the door just goes and kind of tweaks. But where it gets really scary, man, is when the door falls out of the tracks and the door's like hanging and you're like, it's the most intimidating thing. But,
Sheesh.
You get trained and you figure out how to do it. And, I think that's been the most exciting part about the whole journey is, for us, we didn't want to just build a business and walk away from it and leave it to someone to run. Like we're in it. We're very much in it. And for us, it was about building a story where we could be the example, we could become, so I think that's something that was a big deal is like walking into a garage and learning how to service these people and how to fix these things. And, at the same time, you're trying to kind of run and build a business. So here we are.
It's fascinating, man. Honestly, like now that I'm talking to you, you got me thinking about garage door stuff. And that's why I love doing this podcast because it allows my ADD to just run wild. But my garage is my sanctuary, dude. Like when I'm angry, I go hit a workout in the garage. Like that is my cave. And so it's important that my door works. And then installing that side jack made a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
To be able to work out differently. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun, man. I mean, those are more like the modern technology style motors, but I think garage doors is a very misunderstood industry. You only have to really replace, you don't technically have to, but like your odds of replacing a garage door, how many times in your life? So you don't know what you don't know. And there's like all kinds of really cool things, once you like get into the space and you start learning, and I'm kind of a nerd, I kind of go all in everything I do. So I get passionate real fast. And like, I fall in love with this industry in months, it's cool, man. Just kind of the happiest, I've ever been. It's fun.
How big are you guys right now? How many like different operators do you have? How big's the mothership, as it were?
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So we've got 6 locations now. 2 more that we're talking to. We have ambitions, goals to get upwards to 20. I mean, we're going to see how far we can take this thing, man. But
do they have to take on your branding too, Mike? Do they take on your branding or do they get to maintain their independence?
Yeah. So the brand is the brand. Like, we all honor and respect the brand. Those are some of the things that we kind of work through. It's like when we bring an operator in, a lot of the preliminary conversations are like that alignment, right? Because again, it's not like we create these rules and we have these fees that they need to pay. Like, it truly is their business. This really is like a group. It's a network. So for us, like, it takes time to vet out the right operator. The deal is like, to get into the network, it's honestly so convenient that we have a pretty thorough vetting process. We meet the potential operators and we have a lot of conversations, before we formalize anything, because, partnership, you kind of got to both be obligated. And, it's another thing we love about Jason is like, this was initially his vision. We're just bringing it to life over here and taking it, in the direction we all want to take it together. But the way that he condones himself in, this is a partnership, and we almost kind of have to like date for a little while to make sure that we're in alignment in like our beliefs and like, can we buy into this brand? Can you agree with it? Because I'm not necessarily putting something here that says like, you don't have a choice. I need you to choose. So that's just what makes it so different, than everything else. And what made it interesting to us, Yeah.
I love that. What's one thing we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up?
Man, just what it takes in the journey. It's like, I get fired up a lot because you spend 14 years building something, and you look at that whole path, and that thing that we were building as marketers, like, you would talk to contractors nonstop and you would tell them what to do. It was just talk, but you never had to be accountable for it, right? They did. Yep. So like, it's one thing to spend years like coming into meetings like this and saying like, Andrew, you've got to do this. You've got to do that. Like, blah, 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 blah. But now you have this opportunity to take all of the things that you've taught for so many years and you get to actually do them yourself. There's just such a powerful differentiator, like, between doing something versus telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what really like wakes me up in the morning is having this ability to say, listen, like, if you guys all just did the things we told you to do, the way that we're doing the things that we've always said to do, this could be something that you have in your life. This could be, at the level that you want to take it. So just trying to be the example, like.
Yeah.
So I mean, anytime we talk about leadership, it gets me fired up. Anytime, we talk about overcoming adversity and leaning into discomfort, because there was a lot of things we had to kind of work through too. I mean, to walk away from people that were, they were practically like, family to us when we made this decision. And that wasn't an easy thing to do, and you kind of learn like through the process that some things are inevitable, like the way that people treat you after the fact, the way that, people handle things, it all gets interesting real fast, and when you make dramatic adjustments in your life, you start to kind of figure out real quickly, like who the real ones are.
Yeah, I love that. Well, is the vision? Are you guys trying to roll up and sell to PE, or like, what's the long-term goal?
Well, who knows, man? I mean, I think it's important anytime you're building a business that you build it as if you're going to, right? Yeah. Because like, you got to have goals, you got to have budgets, and the only way you would really ever successfully do that correctly is to act as if you're building it to sell it. Right now, this thing is to grow it. It's to grow it and it's to expand it. And, I think the real vision here is like we want to redefine what it is like in the home services to take care of a homeowner. That's something my wife and I are very passionate about. We want to reset the standard. It's like nobody remembers their garage door company, Andrew. Nobody remembers their garage door company. That's why they have to put stickers all over your garage just to get you to remember who took care of your spring.
That's true. I just had to think for a sec. The
exactly.
One guy that did my thing.
And I sit here and I ask myself every day, why? Why? And I think bringing family values, being like authenticity and like relationship driven connections. I mean, no joke. I would friend request every single customer that we serve their home if they'll let me. Because I just want to stay in touch with everyone that I meet and everyone that I have the ability to like cross paths with and help in life, and I just think that businesses are transactional. They're not emotional, and I think that there is a place, like if you can find a way to harness that professionally. It's a dangerous game to play, but I think if you can find a way to do it correctly, man, you can build magical, special things, that has so much heart and drive, but everybody runs away from it. They steer away. And I want to do something different, man. We want to do something different.
Yeah. I love it, man. And this is honestly, thank you for catering to my ADD because I learned a lot. And now you got me thinking about all the, it's just not something you think about. It really isn't, but it's like, it's hugely important. It affects the aesthetic of your house. It affects your enjoyment. And then just dudes love their garages, for me, at least. I know that's my sanctuary. And so,
I love that you did the CrossFit thing. That was a big thing for us for a long time. And the CrossFit community, man, you'll never find like a more supportive, loyal community.
Yep.
It's super cool. Like, even today, like a lot of our referrals have still been the CrossFit community, and we haven't actually been a part of that gym for quite some time. That's how crazy loyal they are.
That's cool.
But I want to ask you a question, Andrew. Like, what do your viewers tend to tune in for? Because I'd love to give them some help, man. I'd love to share something practical that, might actually make a difference, in their lives or their business.
Honestly, being a marketing guru, I'd be curious for some insight into what makes the phones ring. I mean, every home service provider either has a love or hate relationship with their marketing agency. And so, for me, I own an AI agency, and I think smart home service providers are looking at how to get featured on AI search, chat, and Gemini and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love for you to share some insight into what you guys are doing uniquely or differently to get your phones to ring.
Yeah, I love that you're actually bringing it up because it brings me back to what you asked earlier when you said, hey, what's been challenging? Because this kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like one thing I've learned is even with a great brand, even with like, the support team, and some of these things that I've shared with you, you still can't cut corners. Like you still have to build a reputation in the community. You know what I mean? Like you still have to go through and do the work. And knowing everything that we know, because we were very we were Google dominant, marketers, right? Which is a lower process of the funnel. Like your buyers are interested. Like all you got to do is show up and convert. It's a lot different, right? When you're at the awareness stage and they're still doing some of their research and, some of that branding component. But I think what I've realized is it really doesn't matter how good you are. You're going to buy leads in the beginning, like your ability to actually like make the most out of platforms and aggregators like Yelp, Angie, Thumbtack, love or hate it. I do think that it is a very essential part of the scaling process in the early phases. But I also think where a lot of companies go wrong, Andrew, they'll be so reliant upon buying leads. And what they do is they get stuck in this hamster wheel, right? PPC, Yelp, right? And they're buying these leads, but they never get out. And what they're not doing right is like when you purchase the lead, what are you doing when you're in the home that is one step towards not ever having to purchase a lead again?
Yep.
So the example might be stickers, right? We joked about that, but like if you haven't sat down and built the experience in your business, like actually thought out how to be different, for us, it's a number of things, from putting
Yeah.
booties on before we go into the house, even if they tell us we don't have to put them on,
Yeah.
sweeping the floors and making sure the garage is cleaner than it was when we showed up, regardless
Yeah.
of, the fact that we fixed the door, like all of these things, like the thank you cards that you send afterwards. If you haven't thought through all of these steps of the consumer journey, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Because you're just going to continue to buy leads, and you're in a reactive environment where you allowed the lead buying to control you. Other things, that I feel like are pretty essential is like get your first hire right, man. Like having a sales shark, having a solid, first hire is such a hack. For us, we have an incredible technician. He's been in this industry 15 years, and he's just a great human being. We're very blessed, and, it's helping us scale fast, but I would also tell you, it's not just about the consumer experience that you're creating at the home, right? It's about like your reps. What are you doing organically? Anybody that listens to this podcast can come follow me indirectly or follow Good Golly Garage Doors. Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're going to find is that we post every single day. It's a non-negotiable. And we engage like relentlessly. And the reason being is you have to get organic momentum to be able to get out of the lead buying cycle. So for us, it's like, how much work do you put into the game using organic social media or free platforms like GBP, right? Google Business Profiles. I was just having a conversation with a couple of other marketers the other day about how neglected Apple Maps is. I mean, being a business owner now in the trades, like I see the data. It comes directly to me, and I get to see all the nooks and crannies and like the little intricate details that like my former clients didn't share with me as a marketer.
Yeah.
So like now you have all this evidence that validates a lot of these theories and things that were at the time theoretical, but now they're actually fact, because I'll sit here and see how many people are clicking on an Apple Maps business profile. And you're going, dude, nobody's paying attention to their Apple Maps profile.
Nope.
And it's totally free leads.
Yeah.
So how many different things do you think I could find, whether they're small or whether they're large, but they're free? And if I compound them all, that to me is like the game. It's what can I do religiously, consistently to be able to take my foot off of the buying lead pedal.
Yeah.
And then start to use it more tactical, right? Like you and I are talking about aesthetics and garage doors. Well, what's your margins on replacing a garage door? What's your margins, on repairing a garage door? You might want one lead more than you want the other lead. Well, if I can get a consistent flow of leads coming through organic channels, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to scale back my paid budget, or I'm at least going to reallocate my dollars and make sure that I'm focusing right on the actual types of jobs that I want to do. So I could talk your ear off when it comes to marketing, man, but I can tell you it's so essential to make sure that you're doing something organically and building something while you're buying, or else you're just going to keep getting stuck.
Yeah. That's how I've gotten a lot of people on the show. Is just, I just noticed they post consistent content, and those tend to be the people that actually want to be, they're putting themselves out there. So they would want to come on a podcast. I used to find guests through email, and it was just hit or miss. Some people are like, I would never be in front of a camera ever. That's like my worst fear, So dude, I love it.
That's the differentiator.
Yeah.
I got to give some love to a man named Sean Crane. When we went through the transaction, at our former employer, I mean, I gave everything, to that business. It was my life. It was my identity, so when things started to change and shift, like it was a very hard spot for me to be in. There was a year there where, I've always really thrived and felt satisfied on making a difference. Like I'm not really a money motivated guy, it's funny. I drive a paid off Hyundai Sonata from 2017, man. And I drive
very middle class fancy. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, dude. But like, I just cherish memories of my grandfather far more than like, driving around in my fancy, car. Like it's just not how I want to be perceived. But anyways, I got off track there. But what I had realized is, at that time, when you're not making the difference and you're just kind of in a lull, it's very, very, it's difficult. It's difficult when you get stuck in like, well, what is my purpose? What is my value? How do I make
Yeah.
a difference?
Yeah.
It's funny. My grandfather's car, like it triggered a memory and it made me a little emotional for a second. So now I'm like derailed and I don't even remember what my point was and why I was going down that road to share that with you.
No, I love that, dude. I love you got a lot of passion, got a lot of energy. And then I love the background. It's funny, man. When I was so I used to be, this is gonna sound totally crazy, but I worked at a brokerage firm and I called financial advisors day in and day out. And I saw what worked and what didn't work. I used to recruit them, I used to have them sell different types of annuities and life
Yeah.
insurance products. And I was like, you know what? I've talked to hundreds of these guys. I think I could do this. So I went out and hung my own shingle and I got out there. I was like, this is really freaking hard. And I was like, I used to be the guy people called for answers and I had no clue how to get in front of clients. And I think that like, if you don't have something where you put $1 in and you get $5 out, you can't really scale. Like if you never know where the next deal is coming from. And I've seen that hamster wheel with these contractors,
Yeah.
just getting stuck on the teat of buying leads. And you kind of get, because then you're subject to the whims of the lead vendors. Right. And so I agree, man. You have to differentiate yourself. You have to understand the client journey, and then you have to figure out a way to grow and scale with your marketing.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And the only thing I would add to it is sometimes it's more of like a manifestation thing. Like if you can change your perspective, your perception, um, it helps. So like for me, I don't go to jobs thinking about how much money I can make.
Right.
And the best example I can give you is like garage door people hate when they get calls to reprogram remotes. They hate it. Because think about it, right? Like when you look at the overhead and the cost to drive out to a customer's home, and then you think about what you have to charge them to reprogram a remote, you're walking into the lion's den. It's not a big ticket. There's not really any margin. And you're really like about to give them shock value of what you got to charge to reprogram something that is not hard to do. Like it doesn't take long to do it. So when you start to think about circumstances like that, it's the perfect scenario where I say changing your mentality to be aligned with like what you're saying is essential. Because if I go to a job thinking about reprogramming a remote and some of the things that I'm talking about, I'm not going to be my best me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there because I don't see value. But everything that I'm saying to you, right, Andrew, is me, 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 me. It's about me. What am I going to make on my money? Where is my time going to go? It's me, 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 me. Now, if you changed your entire mentality to them,
yeah,
it gets interesting real fast. So let me put it this way for your audience. Imagine if you went to the home with the goal of getting that person to talk about you, not transact with you. I don't even care about the transaction. The transaction will happen naturally if we do this the right way.
Right.
Like my mentality when I show up to a remote reprogram, I'm literally looking for how do I create a memorable experience that makes you talk about me. And the job that is the least favorable for us as an organization is the one that I have to do the most to be memorable on. And it's the little things, right? Like they're cliche things that you hear a lot of sales gurus say, bring the trash can in, pick up the newspaper. Like I get it, but I think the true difference you're going to make is raw authenticity. It's being genuine. It's like truly giving a crap about that person because you can't fake it.
I love that.
How do you get someone to talk about you? Change your mentality to that. And I promise every business listening to this, man, like we it hasn't even been a full year. And I can think of numerous times where a no money job turned into a referral, that would lead to $10,000. You just have to look at it. There's an opportunity everywhere, but like we're so transactional that we miss it. We miss the opportunity because we're distracted by a selfish goal. That's just my 2 cents on that.
I love that, man. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This was so much fun. And if people wanted to follow you or learn more about you, where can they go?
MikeVenidis.com. I appreciate you asking that. I mean, this is our baby here. We're all in on Good Golly. But like, I can't consciously like continue to live my life as a, 14-year digital marketer that's done every role and like not actually help people. Like, if I genuinely cared about this industry did a lot for me. It gave me a second shot at life in some ways. And so all that to say, guys, MikeVenidis.com, you go in, fill out the form. Like, I manage all my own stuff. I do my own social media. I manage my own emails. I don't have like a VA. Like, I actually want to meet you guys. And we do every so often, we will do remote calls like this, 100% free. All you got to do is give back to your community. So I force people to tell me, like, what are you going to do for your community? How are you going to give back and help someone else? Pay it forward. You can come in my classroom and I'm going to give you everything I know. Genuinely try to help you grow your business, get your leads, solve your problems, like you name it. I'll do my best to support you guys at zero cost. And I'd love to meet y'all. It's all about lifting each other up, man.
I love that, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Mike, don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me, Andrew. I appreciate it, really. Thank you.